Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. My, 2025 went so fast, but we're going to end this year the same way we begin this year, with gratitude and thankfulness to the Lord God. We're going to have an invocation from Songbird.
2025 may indeed be coming to an end, but there are some things that never end. Lamentations tells us the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. In Revelation, the Lord says, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, says the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. In Isaiah, the Lord says, remember the former things, for I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Friends, we may not know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future, and we can trust him. Thank you, Lord God, for all your blessings of the past year. Thank you for holding us together through the rough times. Thank you that you hold our future, and we place 2026 into your almighty hands tonight, Lord. And we thank you for bringing us to the Southside Unicorn Show tonight. Bless our time together. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
That was a lovely invocation by Songbird. Thank you so much for that. Again, my heart, and I'm sure I speak for many of my people so assembled here, thankful to the Lord God for the year 2025. Now, hey, it's the eve before New Year's Eve. That means you're going to party with yours truly before you go party with the rest of the people you know. So I'm honored and blessed to have you all with me for one evening. You're all mine, and the audience is going to love this. We're going to just visit together, and we're going to have a round robin of questions. So everyone, please unmute yourself. This is going to be a gaggle. So go ahead and unmute yourself, because we're going to play a quick game of Q&A throughout the evening. Some questions are current events. Some are past events. If you know, go ahead and chime in and offer your opinion about those questions that you may know the answer to. And we're just going to go round robin, everybody. And I see you up there, Deborah. Thank you so much, Deborah, for coming in. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Evie. Everyone. I see Agnes Gibney is here too. I'm so honored. Look at all these people. This is my belated Christmas present. And going into the new year, it's just going to be awesome. But you know, we got to get down to business. We got a lot of questions we want to ask you all for the entertainment of the audience. Got a question for you.
When President Reagan was shot, who was the man that said, I'm in charge now?
Did somebody chime in?
Yep, Alexander Haig.
Wow.
So
bingo.
So you got the answer right off the bat, but I want to kick this around just a little bit. Why was he wrong? Does anybody know why he was wrong when he said he was in charge?
He wasn't official. Well, officially, he was the Secretary of State. So by order of succession, it would go to the vice president, who was then not at the White House. He was returning to D.C. on an airplane at the time, probably in radio contact. And then, but in terms of presidential succession, it would go to, of course, the Speaker of the House, the Senate pro tem, and then the Secretary of State. But he thought he would make a name for himself, comes up to the microphone in the press room in the White House that day after Reagan had been shot, and said, well, I'm in charge here at the White House. And his fellow cabinet members go like,
he definitely
what?
did make a name for himself by doing that. He definitely made a name for himself.
Yes.
Everybody was making fun of him. I remember it distinctly because I was in the Air Force at the time when that happened. And I thought, how could he possibly be in charge? Even at that time as a young person, I thought, he can't be in charge.
Mm-hmm. And I think it threw everything into disarray, because instead of being about the business of our government while we were suffering through an attempted assassination of our president, everyone was arguing over whether he really was indeed in charge. Makes you wonder if they ever read the Constitution. So Joe, do you remember that time? Were you old enough to remember that?
I'm not even 100% certain I was like able to follow politics at that time. I was born in
Oh
85.
wow. Okay. What about you, Agnes? I know you were probably abroad. Were you in country when President Reagan was shot?
I sure was. I was non-political then, but I remember that day as if it was yesterday. And how President Reagan said, honey, I forgot to duck.
Yeah, and he actually added on to that because he had a sense of humor even in that dark time. As the surgeons were wheeling him into surgery, he said, "I sure hope you all are Republicans."
Yeah, that was the second one. Yep.
That's the type of man that he was, and that's the type of leadership we once enjoyed in this country.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say about present leadership, but Greg, you seem to have a handle on this thing. How would it go today if indeed it came down to the Secretary of State? Who would that be today?
Marco Rubio.
So Marco Rubio finally would become president. God forbid something would happen. But that would take what? 3 people being taken out of the process?
4.
4. Please explain.
President,
Vice President.
Vice President, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, and the President pro tem of the Senate, who I do not know who that is. It's not the majority leader, Thune. So whoever that is, that person would also have to be killed or die, leaving the number 5 Secretary of State to become the president.
I'm going to check
Okay.
here. You don't have to be killed or died. You have to be incapacitated. It's possible
Okay.
for them to be taken out of that line of succession simply for being incapacitated. They don't necessarily have to be dead.
Okay, yeah, let's make that clear that we're not talking about unaliving anybody or anything like that. But it was an interesting time. She goes by the name Patriot Pause, and I want you all to really get to know this person. She does an awful lot, Deborah Polly, for veterans. I was going to say just the Air Force because I want to feel special. But Patriot Pause, are you there?
Yes, I am, and I am familiar with Miss Polly.
I am very familiar with Patriots and Pauls as well. Very, very
Yes.
appreciative of them.
Exactly. They do an awful lot of stuff. We just had Catherine Daigle join us. Wish she could have got in on that one Q&A. I want to make sure I stay on track, so I'm looking for my timer and everything so that we roll in and out of the breaks as needed. But this is so awesome. Jay, do you have any memories of when President Reagan was shot? You got to come off the mute, brother.
Okay, just what I saw in the news, because I think I was still in geez, what year was that? I don't know if I was still in high school or first couple of years of college.
It was 81.
81? Oh, okay. Well, it was later than that then. I was working out at KVCR still, but
Okay.
I had more important things on my mind than those things, and I saw it on the news, and that's all I really paid attention to it.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I remember it. We all have memories about it. Evie, do you have any memories of that?
I was a small child when that happened. So if we weren't playing double dutch, I didn't have any interest in it.
So if it didn't have anything to do with double dutch, it just wasn't happening, huh?
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay, hey, it would come to that point where we have to take a station break. So, ladies and gentlemen, go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
This time of year can be emotionally rough on a lot of good people. If you're feeling low and you need someone to talk to, caring people are available 24/7 at the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Just call or text 988. It's free and confidential. Don't wait. Call or text 988. If you're going to imbibe, don't drink and drive. Arrange a ride home with a friend. Or just tell Siri you're drunk and Siri will call you a cab. Remember, If you imbibe, don't drink and drive.
Hey. We're back for the second segment of the Southside Unicorn Show, Eve before New Year's Eve show. Thank you all for joining us. So much fun. We're doing a Q&A situation and kind of picking everybody's brains. So I hope you have your thinking caps on, because here we go with another question.
A two-part question. Who coined the phrase circle back? And whose name do the letters KJP stand for?
Somebody chimed in really quick.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get to that other part too. Okay, we got KJP, Kareem Jean-Pierre. Now, who was it that said circle back?
Jen Psaki.
Yeah, Jen Psaki.
You said Jen Psaki, huh? So, when I think about those two and that particular administration, have you ever had a neighbor that you just wished would move out and just go away? And you find out, that the neighbor that moved out, okay, fine. The new neighbor is worse than the one you wished would go away. We got rid of Jen Psaki, and what did we get? KJP. Any comments, any thoughts?
Yeah, the reason why we got KJP is because the Biden-Harris administration wanted to be the first to have the Black lesbian woman to be in office. They wanted to be the first to have everything. And so, they really screwed the pooch with that one. However, they did hit those DEI check marks with that pick.
So you're saying that was a definite DEI hire?
Absolutely.
I understand. Anybody else's thoughts on that?
Of course it was, but she was good for comic relief. From our perspective, she was a good choice.
Why do you say that, Greg?
She was a clown. She was someone who you could repeatedly she could ridicule and make fun of, and she did not make a good presentation for her side, for her boss, for her administration.
Wow.
She was a detriment. She was a positive for us.
I think she had a hard job, though, because she had to represent Biden, who every other word was, intangible. I didn't know what exactly he was trying to say and relay most of the time. So I think she did a lot better job than her boss. So
yeah, the guy she was working for. Now we have someone that's deep in media on the panel right now. Catherine Daigle, can you chime in on this? What are your thoughts about the Jen Psaki KJP nightmare?
My first thought when you said that was, of course, the binder that she carried with her entire time when she was in the White House. And I have a different thought than her following the Biden regime. Rather, she followed the Obama regime as the talking points for his second or third administration. So I don't believe Biden was ever present or president. So I firmly believe that. And I believe we're going to find out really soon why all of this has taken place within probably the next 3 to 5 months prior to July 4th, when Trump has his golden opportunity, which he will show the world things that we have never seen before. So
sounds like from your lips to God's ear.
I believe it 100%. So yeah, the two of them between Psaki and KJP, they didn't do anything. They just read off whatever the teleprompter said, and the questions were already being delivered by Obama and his administration that was still in the White House that Biden kept there. And they only allowed, and I'm not even going to call them news journalists, they were media, period. And they only came up with questions that they were given to ask. So that's 100% my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean your opinion is valued because you're in the media industry. What do you suspect was in the binder? Was that someone telling her exactly what to say, or just her having a rifle of data available.
Well, between her little what are those Post-it notes that
Oh
you
yeah, that's
saw
right.
within the binder, those were the talking points with little binder notes that even Biden carried with him in his breast pocket. So I 100% believe that the questions that were asked and she followed what was in that binder ahead of any press conference. These weren't press conferences either. These were nothing more than show. It was a pony
Wow.
show. That's my belief, my opinion.
And thank you for that opinion. I mean, coming from you and those who know Catherine Daigle, she knows what she's talking about. Jay, do you have any thoughts on that about KJP? No thoughts, no comments on that one?
No, I'm completely lost in what the half the time when those things came on, I changed the channel.
Oh,
So
wow.
I wasn't.
Okay. And that's, you know what, that's interesting because a lot of people do. You know, some of us here are information warriors, but the average person, you're right, they see that stuff come online and it's click on to Gilligan's Island. You know, that's where they're headed to. Evie, any thoughts on that?
Well, what I thought was very interesting was that during the Biden administration, people really didn't tune into politics as much. One thing I could say for our president, President Trump, is he gets people involved, whether they want to be or not. People tune in. So, I, for no other reason, I thank that. I thank the Lord for that because people need to be aware of what's going on. And every day it seems like we're getting more and more information. And I really do love the fact that we have a president that speaks to us because Biden didn't do too much of that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he basically he won from the basement and then he went back in the basement.
Right.
Never seen anything like it before.
Right.
So now we have KJP saying that she basically is walking away from the Democrat Party. I really would like everyone to give me their thoughts on that. Is that because, you know, rats run from sinking ships, or has she seen the light?
Well, did you say why she's walking away from the Democrat Party? They're too disorganized, they're not far left enough, or is it like Tulsi Gabbard and others that have just realized that the Democrat Party has veered off too far to the left and left them? I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah, I didn't leave my party. My party left me.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Anybody?
I think that a lot of people are finally opening their eyes to who the Democrat Party really serves. And it's not our citizens, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or any other. The Democrat Party serves immigrants and especially illegal immigrants. So I think that she left because she realized that, hey, there's nothing in it for me.
Okay.
I
So
would
yeah,
like, if I may chime in on that.
of course.
Yeah, I don't think that the Democrat Party served immigrants like myself. They served illegal aliens and criminals, period. Because there was a huge difference between an illegal alien and an immigrant. And I wish the media would start correcting that and using the correct term. What's applied either in federal books, they're illegal aliens or illegal aliens, not immigrants. Immigrants is somebody who legally, lawfully comes into the United States.
That is so true. Thank you for
Yeah.
pointing that out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you got stuff like that going on all over the place. Now, here's what I'm concerned with. We got so many people trying to come in, and I want to make sure that I get everybody in here. Some are coming from Florida, some are actually in I think Mar-a-Lago with the president's area right now, but they're trying to get in with us on the show. So please bear with me a minute as we ferret those type of things out to see where these people are. But now you got KJP, who was the mouthpiece for a man who wasn't even president. Then she says, I give up. I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. Is there room for a person like that in the Republican Party?
Hell no.
Oh, no. Hell yes.
No, it's not.
Really?
Oh, no. Oh, no. There is room on our team for all freedom-loving, America-loving Americans, even if we differ from some issues, on some issues. And if we're going to build a substantial majority coalition, that's the way it has to be. And I'm watching way too much of this. It happened at America Fest. It's happening online every day. Not only are we not trying to bring in people who agree with us on the big stuff or being on a number of things, but we're trying to find ways in which to differ with and make enemies of people who agree with us on 80 or 90% of the issues.
I vehemently disagree. She sat there and gaslit and lied to the public for 3.5 years.
There you go.
She can vote Republican and be Republican all she wants to, but
There
as
you
far
go.
as giving her a voice in the Republican Party is an absolute no. She's trying to save face. The reason why she left the Democrat Party is because she knew she was lying. She said Joe Biden was fit and in shape and he was running circles around people every single day, all day, every day. He was outperforming everybody, and then turned around and said, well, I knew that he had these mental issues that the whole entire public saw, but I had to just go with the narrative. Kareem Jean-Pierre is an abject failure. She is a liar. There is no place in the Republican Party for liars. We've had that too many times before.
How big of a Republican Party would you have if you excluded all liars?
How big of a Republican Party?
Wait a minute.
How big of a Republican Party would we have?
Joe Collins and which two other people are going to be the remaining Republicans if you exclude everyone who's ever told a lie?
Greg.
What I'd like to do right now is get in Joe's corner. Joe, I don't know if you remember meeting. I met you when you were running for Congress. I came up there and you were having some kind of a fundraiser, food drive or something like that. Yeah. And I met you there. You're prior military, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, see, you and I have a similar understanding of how infiltrators work and how we should or should not trust them. Yes, go right ahead, honey. You go ahead and register.
Well, watch this. We got to get the cut men in here. We got to get some water on you guys right quick. I
agree with Joe.
Yeah, I hear what you all are saying. We're going to start heading toward a station break. It's a hard break. So, Evie, are you Team Joe or are you Team Greg?
Well, I have to agree with Greg to a point. The reason is we have a lot of people who are here in America that we don't agree with, but they're still Americans. And the same thing with the Republican Party. We need the numbers. Does that mean that we're going to follow them? No, because their options are really so low.
Yeah, I got you on that. Patriot pause. Are you Team Greg or Team Joe?
As a nonprofit, I am team neither one because I don't take a political stand.
Okay, so watch this. You're voting present. Now let me get to my brother Jay. Jay, are you Team Joe or Team Greg?
Yeah, I'm with Joe.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Catherine, Team Joe or Team Greg? Are you there, Catherine?
Yes, I was trying to take myself off pause. KGB is a fraud and a liar. I absolutely would never have her in the Republican Party. She wouldn't be here. She's running because she has caused so many problems in this country with her lies. She's a traitor. So no.
Okay. So having said that, I guess you're Team Joe. We'll tally this up, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from the break. We have to take a station break to get some chips up in this house. We'll be right back after these messages go nowhere. Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. And we are in segment 3 because segment 2, man, that was hot. That was action. But again, we all know each other. We all care about each other. We all respect each other. So this is all in fun, but opinions can make you feel some kind of way. And as you saw in segment 2, it was either Team Joe or Team Greg. It's a big tent, but sometimes we don't need all them clowns. Now, having said that, we're going into segment 3, and I want to keep it going exactly the way we've been doing. This is really good. I got another question for you.
Anybody love Kofifi in the morning? What was the original meaning of Kofefe?
Anybody know? Anybody want to take a guess? I'm gonna play the
As I
Jeopardy
recall,
music.
it never people it created, like what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? I don't think Donald Trump ever said what he meant by it, but he may have at some point.
I believe he may have. I believe he did. And let's kick it around, everybody. There's no right or wrong answer. Let's just have fun with it for a while. I'm going to you, Evie. What do you think Kofifi meant? What do you think he meant when he said Kofifi?
I have not a clue. Kofifi?
Yeah. Do you remember it? Do you remember
I
when it came
don't.
out?
I don't.
It went viral because it was argumentative of whether that's what he really meant or if it was a misunderstanding of what he meant. Sort of like the song in the Garden of Gavita or whatever, that one song where the guy never said the words right, Gaga Gavita or whatever, and it spiraled into a viral term that nobody really understood. Agnes, do you remember that time when the word Kofifi came out?
Yeah, I remember, and if I remember correctly, it was something that was mistyped or autocorrected. Was supposed to mean coverage, and it the thing typed up Kofifi.
Huh.
It
Now,
was
what
a, it
about what
was a,
about you, Paws and Patriots? What do you think? What do you think it meant?
Well, I have no idea because I'm not familiar with that segment of what you guys or when it came out.
Oh,
I was out serving our veterans and taking care of today's things and not
handling
worrying
that
about
business.
that stuff.
And I want to thank you for that. For those of you who are just coming in, Paws and Patriots, these are the type of American patriots that we who have served, we who are serving, they make such a difference because they reach out to the veteran or to the active duty member and they say, hey, we see you. We appreciate what you're doing. And how can we help you? It's very rare that those are the 3% who would give you their very lives. Some people don't ask them anything about what they want or what matters. But at Patriots and Paws, oh yeah, they got your back. So I want to say thank you for that and a big shout out for that. Now, Catherine, I want to come to you real quick. What do you think Kofifi meant? What was that? Was that a mistake or is it an actual thing?
Well, it was a tweet, and it went viral. It was the original tweet, I think, was deleted many hours later because it was in the middle of the night. I did cheat just now and
Uh-oh.
looked it up because I remember memes going out on it. And it said it was Kofifi Act, Communications over Various Feeds, Electronic for Engagement Act. Now, whether that is true or not, I don't know, but I do remember it. I did hear it. I did see it on my feed. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I think that kind of started his rampant memes that are going on right now in the White House for all of us who follow those dog coms and those memes. And
Mhm.
I'm part of the rabbit hole. So I could use a letter, and that would obviously tell you where I go to find a lot of information. But
You know what? I can't wait to hear that letter. Is it going to be PG or do we have to bleep it out?
the letter, it's Q. There's no bleeping.
Oh,
I do a lot of that's why I asked you, is there anything taboo tonight? So
no.
I have a
Oh, no.
lot of information. So and I love it. I love doing this. So anything else I can help, just ask.
Well, I am really shocked to hear that. And you're right, because when the word Kofifi came out, there were people who actually made money from it. They made
Yes.
Kofifi shirts, Kofifi hats, and I'm sitting there going, and nobody knows what this means. There has to be a meaning to it. Let's see who we didn't call on. You know what, Deborah Polly? We didn't get your chance give a chance for you to give your Team Joe or Team Greg in the last segment. So do that real quick, and then tell me what you think about the word Kofifi.
Well, we were at 3-2 on the vote with the last segment. So, it depends on how Jay and Agnes would have voted. And I don't think they registered a vote with that unless I'm mistaken. However, I want to talk about this because it was clearly a communications error, whether it was a mistyping or whatever. What I love about it, and it's so Trump, is that he decided to just own it.
Right.
And we took it and ran with it. I know I was engaged in just telling how much I love Kofifi, and just, it's just, that's what I love about it. It's like, yes, we're human. I made a mistake. All of you leftists want to absolutely go berserkoid over it. Let me go ahead and just own it and make light of it, be able to make fun of ourselves. And I think that's so important that we're able to do that, not take ourselves too seriously, even as we are engaged in very serious and important things, as the president clearly is. And I think most of the people in this room on this call are as well.
Exactly. So I'm going to my brother Jay, a really good friend of mine. Jay,
Yeah.
do you remember Kofifi?
Nope, never heard of it until tonight.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one, Jay.
I had to look it up to see what it was.
Oh, okay. So I'm not going to ask you to answer that right quick, but I also want to remind you all that everybody in here is not necessarily from the same camp. My brother Jay is not what you would consider a Republican and or MAGA. Am I right, Jay?
Correct, 100%.
He said 100%. He didn't even say 50%. It's all up in there the way it is. John, I want to thank you for coming in with us. Not nice to see you again. And now Suave, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are coming in. We got people coming and going all night long. Can you give me a quick introduction to yourself? What's happening here? Who are you?
Yeah, my name is Suave. My last name is Brown. I'm from New York City. Basically this whole part of why I'm here, for my first time here, basically, I always looking for different knowledge on different topics. And my counselor recommended me that I join this. I actually don't know how she knows about this link, but yeah.
Okay. Well then take a ride with us. Sometimes just listening is edification. You know what I'm saying? You are now in a room full of some of the most esteemed people in America. So yeah.
Oh, I'm honored.
Okay, outstanding. So we're gonna go around the room. I got Marseille. Marseille, am I saying that right?
No, it's me, Nick Torres.
Oh, hey Nick. I knew that was you. You're just doing that name change again. We were dealing with
my phone has a crappy camera, so I'm just hopping on my dad's iPhone.
Okay, there it is. We got a lot of people coming in that I knew were going to be coming, but let's keep on track with where we were at. Nick, Kofifi, when the word came out, did you understand what it meant? Do you know now what it means?
No, I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand it then. But it's just part of Trump's legacy, I suppose. It's kind of one of those things that's kind of had a life of its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, John, what are your thoughts on Kofifi? Are you familiar with it?
Not familiar at all. You're going to have to catch me up.
You know what? I'm going to let my friend Deborah Pauly bring you up to speed.
Okay. Well, I think that Catherine kind of laid it out well. He was tweeting one night. That's when they started making jokes about Trump don't tweet at night. Don't tweet at night, But there was a typo of some sort, and instead of whatever it was meant to say, and some say it was meant to say communication, or any form of engagement, media engagement is a good thing. But it came out Kofifi. And of course, no, it's nonsense word. And
not necessarily nonsense. It was an acronym for communications over various feeds.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Deborah Pauly said that's what they say.
It was HR 2884. And that's the issue. A lot of people think when Donald Trump says stuff that he's just memeing or he's just talking trash, but they never take him serious on the things that he says. So when you say something like Kofifi, then for someone in the military, it makes sense. Well, it has to be an acronym for something, because in the military, we have acronyms for literally every single thing. Like FUBAR. FUBAR is a military acronym that most people wouldn't understand. It sounds like gibberish, but it's actually true. But when you hear the left talk about Donald Trump or something like that, they think everything that he says is bullshit, and that's the narrative that they're going to run with. Kofifi doesn't mean anything. Well, they passed the bill in an acronym is COFIFI.
Oh, is that? Wait a minute. Hold on. Joe, are you saying that somewhere in the annals of our litigious world of the government, the word Kofifi has taken on the life of being a law or a bill?
That's where he got it from.
What? You know,
they
there's a lot of
they wanted to preserve presidential records on social media.
Okay. Greg, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, in context, the only word that makes sense there is coverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really going to boil down to what Catherine Daigle said. It could be an actual intent, it could be an acronym, or it could actually be a legitimate mistake that because President Trump he's in tune with the people, he's got that media savvy that he just said, hey, why not? I'm just going to roll with it. Is that your thought, Swan? Were you thinking that?
Yeah, I was thinking exactly that.
Okay, great. So it looks like we all got something. So let me jump over here to John real quick. John, did that help you? Do you have
Yeah, that
a
helped me a
better
lot.
idea?
Actually, I think the political discourse in our country is really in a tough spot right now. But I think that the folks on the left take President Trump, they take him literally, but not seriously. And the folks on the right take him seriously, but not literally. So when he says something, folks on the left get panicked by what he says because they think it is literally what he's going to do or what he's thinking. He's the biggest troll I've ever seen. He's very, very, very good at eliciting a response from the people that he wants to control or
that is really cool.
so
So he's King Troll, is what you're saying.
oh yeah, he's the king of the trolls. So when he says stuff, very often it's to elicit a response. And I don't think it should be taken literally.
Right. So okay, here we go. Since we all seem to have our own opinions about what Kofifi really means, we're going to go to Songbird, our very own oracle. Songbird, what's the answer?
Connie's deep dive found that Kofifi is an antediluvian term meaning, wait for it, quote, in the end, we win, unquote.
Ow! In the end, we win. Kofifi, ladies and gentlemen. Kofifi means in the end, we win. And I'll be damned if that's not what happened in 2024. It really went down that way. Look, we got to take another station break, get some chips up here in the house. So we'll be right back after these messages go nowhere.
This time of year can be emotionally rough on a lot of good people. If you're feeling low and you need someone to talk to, caring people are available 24/7 at the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Just call or text 988. It's free and confidential. Don't wait. Call or text 988. If you're going to imbibe, don't drink and drive. Arrange a ride home with a friend. Or just tell Siri you're drunk and Siri will call you a cab. Remember, if you imbibe, don't drink and drive.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we're back for segment 4 of the Eve before New Year's Eve show. That's where you're all mine for just this evening before you go out and party with everybody else. You know what I mean? So we're back, and this is really going really good. I can see the looks on my panel's face. You guys are getting into this. You're feeling it. You're feeling the Southside Unicorn Show. So let's just keep it going the way we got it going. Got another question for you.
I want to wake up in a city that never sleeps. Is this the new New York?
We actually heard the President of the United States have this gentleman come to the White House, which I would imagine that's customary. Hey, he won the election. He's the mayor-elect of one of the largest cities in the world. So he brought him into the White House. And the remarks of President Donald J. Trump, along with the idea of Kofifi, right? I was shocked that he said he has great hopes for this gentleman and that he sees, that he's going to be doing okay. And with that, I'm going to let her rip. Greg, you bring us in on this one. What's your thoughts about the incoming mayor of New York City?
Oh, I think he's every bit the disaster that people fear that he's going to be. Not only is he a socialist, not only is he a Muslim, not only is he the poster child for the red-green axis, the man has never held a job in his life. He's a rich kid. He's a spoiled rich kid who's never accomplished a thing in his life, and he's now going to take over one of the larger organizations in the country, the New York City government. So aside from his ideology, we're just going to see the gross level of incompetence. So we can only hope that his incompetence exceeds his ideology, so he can do less harm. If he was more competent, then he would do more harm with his ideology. So we shall see. For example, he just appointed the fire commissioner was some lesbian who's never been a firefighter. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh my goodness. Well, with that answer, I want to segue to the one person I know already is from the Jewish community. I believe he has an input for that. Jay, what are your thoughts? Just hold on, Swa. What are your thoughts about Mandami's election?
He'll be lucky if he lasts a year.
What? Why do you say that?
How many guns do you think are floating in New York City right now?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot. A real lot.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about it that way. We wish this man long life and health. But politically, how do you feel about his upcoming administration?
Politically, what I've heard through my vines is that the Jewish people are talking about leaving New York City in droves.
Wow. Okay. Get over here to my boy Nick. Nick, what are your thoughts on Mandami going into New York?
Yeah, well, I think Mamdani obviously is pretty politically terrible. That we've seen New York go down. He's probably going to abolish, or try to implement some kind of criminal justice reform, make things gayer and more weird if he can do that. But I'm kind of skeptical on this whole notion that he's going to kind of turn New York City into some kind of Sharia law state, or that he's some kind of devout practicing Muslim. And I think this is just actually part of a broader pattern. Tucker Carlson actually has talked about it. I think he's correct. There's a lot of, I think, fear mongering going on. And a lot of it is actually being driven, quite frankly, by people in, the Jewish community and the Zionist community who want to get Americans frothed up for another war in the Middle East. So they want to paint all Muslims in a certain light. And I can only imagine if the things like Mr. Donenfeld said, if that was about a Jewish official in the city and someone like me, a white person in a MAGA hat, said that and said something about guns floating around, I don't think that would be taken too well. So I think my whole point on that is, I think some people need to calm down. I think Mamdani is honestly just a standard, quite frankly, anti-white leftist. I don't think he's a Muslim ideologue. I don't think the Ayatollah has been elected to New York City. And I think, some of this rhetoric I'm hearing from people and things like that, I just think is totally overblown, and it's being used to get Americans frothed up for, I think, another conflict in the Middle East, or to support Israel or bolster support for Israel, a state which has, in their own right, I think committed several or dozens of war crimes in the past couple of years, and people could feel how they feel about it. That's how I feel.
I hear what you're saying, Nick.
Yeah.
And you just segued us into a show where I'm going to have to invite you back next month. I want to hear more about what you're saying. But we have
I always love talking about Israel. I'm always ready to talk about Israel.
I bet you are. We'll get into that. But this is a New Year's Eve show, so I don't want to get all off into the weeds. Agnes, do you have any thoughts about Mandami coming into office?
Actually, I'm a little shocked that that he even got voted in. That the socialist agenda is so popular in New York. I don't think he's going to succeed at all. And I don't know where he's planning to have everything for free. Who's going to be paying and maintaining the buses and everything else? It's going to be a total disaster. I am actually shocked.
Wow. So, Deborah, what are your thoughts? What comes to mind when this man takes office in New York City?
Well, I think you have to be very naive or ill-informed to think that there isn't a problem. We have pockets of Islamic radical Islamists throughout the country. They have already been active in what they are doing. I mean, you can look what's happening with Somalia. The Somalians that have taken over an entire area of an entire state, and they are robbing us blind while they're there. You know, it's ignorance to think that they're not here to take over the country. They are here to take over the country. That's what they're all about, is to cause everyone to submit to them. And radical Islam and the tenets of radical Islam are diametrically opposed to the Constitution. And so they will never be able to be in this country and have this country remain the way it is if we allow them to march unfettered, which is what's happening. And it is no small thing at all for the mayor of New York, a major city, to be a Muslim, and to have a growing number of elected Muslims throughout the country at every level of government. This is on purpose. This is by design, and we should be very concerned about it. And we should not be so naive as to think that this is not a threat to our country and our way of life.
Wow. So, Evie, having heard everyone else's input, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is I really do agree with what was just said, and I'll tell you why. Because there was a time in the EU where people thought, well, there's nothing wrong. We're just going to have a few people with differing opinions slowly take majority seats within their government. And what happened was it changed the state. You have to to change the country. You have to understand that, one, our country was based on Christian principles. And when we have people who follow a doctrine that says that we have to kill all people who are not like us, I'm concerned about that. Even if the individual doesn't believe that, I don't see enough people speaking out against the atrocities that people have committed in the name of this doctrine. So we, as a
in the name of Muhammad, in the name of Allah Akbar, say it in the name of radical Islam. This is a very real thing, and we need to be able to speak it out. If we in this small room, even after we have a problem.
Can I say something, Ken? Can I say something? Because I'd like to point something out.
Give me 1 second, Nick.
All right,
Nick, give me 1 second.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna come to you. I got to get to John. John is like he's like the Sweden type of guy. John, what are your thoughts on what you're hearing?
Well, I'll come out of the closet right now and just tell you that I'm a Christian and I'm also conservative.
Okay.
But I'm not at all concerned about Mamdani being a Muslim. I know that there's some concern here about that on this panel, but I am very concerned that he's not a capitalist. That is the biggest concern that I have. And the benefit here, I guess, is that he's the mayor of New York City, which is probably, aside from the president of the United States and maybe the governor of California, is the most visible political role in the United States. And so I think he's going to fail, and I think he's going to fail big. And I don't think his policies have a chance of success. He's driving all of the big money out of New York. And a lot of that big money is liberal, but they're going to vote with their feet. They have the capacity
They're going to vote
to
with
leave.
their feet.
Yeah,
I hear you, and as
leave.
we're about to hit a hard break. Thank you for that, John. We're about to hit a hard break, but I want Catherine Daigle to take this last 30 seconds. Catherine, what are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts. Mamdani is not going anywhere. He is an Islamic Muslim who is holding prayer calls in the middle of New York City.
Whoa.
He is not going to go any further. And what will occur, my opinion, is it'll be a lot like Minnesota, only it'll just be on a grander scale because New York is extremely populated by a lot of different cultures. And as we all know, is Islam and Muslims don't assimilate. They
Yeah,
want
and
you.
I'm glad you said that, Nick.
So
I'm not
I
gonna.
want to. Can I just bring something up? Because
Yeah,
we're
make it
yeah,
quick,
no,
brother.
I'll
Make
make
it
it
quick.
quick. But we're talking about Muslims and things like that. Do you know what borough in Brooklyn has the highest level, or the borough in New York has the highest level of welfare participation and welfare rates? It's Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which is actually home to a very large Hasidic Orthodox Jewish community. And a lot of people on this panel want to like go off like Deb and things like that because they think they'll probably get Zionist dollars. But the real threat to this
Well, no
country's freedom,
insults, Nick. No
no,
insults, brother.
this real threat to this country's freedom. You go look at a map. There's 39 of the 50 states in our country either have, or 39, 50 states in our country have laws passed by the state legislature or executive orders by the state's governor that outlaw boycotting the state of Israel. That's a serious violation of our First Amendment rights. People have been able to boycott South Africa, all kinds of countries.
Nick,
Why can't we boycott Israel?
Nick, you got to pump the brakes because I'm on a
Yeah.
timeline. We got a hard break to go to, so I wasn't dismissing you. Wow, that is a lot to put into one thing. We were just talking about New York and their new mayor, but I can see right now there's a lot of energy about that. We got Isaac in here. Isaac, I need to get an answer from him. I didn't expect him to come in. Hey, Isaac, go ahead and unmute, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to do my break right now. I need you to come in on this. We were talking about Mondami becoming the mayor of New York City. Can you give me a 30-second opinion of yours on what your prognostication of the Mondami mayorship? What do you see?
The first thing I want to say is Shoe on Head, I think, had the best commentary on that. She said, like a lot of other anti-Semites in the young left, that he basically won that mayor race by coming out as anti-Israel and anti-Semitic. So the woke left, and in New York there are a lot of them, the extreme left loves that opinion. So first and foremost, we're going to have a mayor of a major U.S. city, the largest Jewish city in the world in terms of population, who's a Nazi, right? And you were asking about the future. So that's where he starts his mayorship. But what he's going to do now is, we're going to have publicly financed grocery stores in New York, right? We're going to see, we're seeing the city council's proposed restrictions that prevent property owners. Going to have to offer the right of first refusal to the city government and nonprofits. And then when they do find a private seller down the road, they're going to have to get approval to sell it, privately. New York is going to go into decline. And it's a sad thing to see because, there are good police officers there who want to do their job right. I'm not saying everybody is good, but, there are good people who want to work and live, right? And do their thing. And they're not going to be able to do that because the city's economy is going in the tank. The city government is now, malfeasant. Law enforcement's going to be absent. And that's not going to protect the businesses that want to grow and thrive. And I just want to say, New York is an extremely diverse place. You have a huge number of African-American business owners, of immigrant business owners. It's not just, I want to say the white elite that Mamdani's talking about, right? It's going to hurt everybody.
I agree with you, Isaac.
That is an excellent way to put it, in my opinion. Like, really.
Yes, I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, we have to be able to make sure that we have policies that are going to sustain the whole economy, all people in New York, and not just a small group or the majority. So when you're constantly attacking companies, you have to remember where you're getting your tax dollars from. They have the ability, unlike people who are poor, they have the ability to leave. You have to have some sense when you're making policies that are going to affect the people who are bringing in the most taxes to your city.
Hey, we have to take another station break. We'll be right back after these messages. But let me say this. The man won the election. We're all decent Americans. I'm going to congratulate Mayor Mondami for becoming the new mayor of New York with my fingers crossed. We'll be right back after these messages. Go nowhere.
When I see a new broadcast from the Southside Unicorn, I can't wait to listen to it. You just never know what he's going to say.
Hey, my name is Toot Sweet, and I'm New York City's original artist, singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you're learning any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the liberal land of make-believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is Toot Sweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party's just getting started.
Hey, Ken White here, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, reading, or seeing, won't you support the show? You can do that in two different ways. You can buy merch or do a straight donation. To buy merch, go to www.thesouthsideunicornshow.com. To make a donation of any denomination, use the Cash App. Our account number is the $ SSUS44. And thank you very much. Hey, listen to me. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nothing more I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
Yes, sir.
What's your name, boy?
Mayo. Zach Mayo, sir.
How did you slip into this program? I didn't know the Navy was so hard up.
You got an injury there, Mayo? Not exactly, sir.
Hey, this is really wonderful work. Where'd you get this, Mayo?
Subic Base, Philippines, sir.
Ah, you ought to recognize the work. Be proud of them wings. They're the only ones you're gonna leave here with. Mayonnaise.
You were warned. You were told. You were begged not to wake up Gen X. Well, congratulations. We're awake now.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White. host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are back for segment 5 of a very interesting Eve before New Year's Eve show. Now, what it has done, we got to have some follow-up shows. There's some very strong personalities and some serious opinions going on. So I hear a second show. We'll do that in the new year. But now, we're back in segment 5, and we're back with more questions for you.
And here's a fun piece of trivia. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. What group recorded the song In the Navy?
Anybody?
I'm gonna go with K Gliz and the Troopers.
Was it Village
Huh?
People?
It was who?
Was it the Village People?
Yeah, the Village People. Same guys that did YMCA.
Exactly. There you go. Bingo, you have it. Now, using the Village People, it seems President Trump used one of their songs as his campaign music. It was YMCA.
YMCA, yeah.
Right? It's funny, hey. And so, with that being the case, and we're talking nautical, we're talking Navy, we got my brother Joe Collins here, who was a member of the United States Navy. So I hope he's going to keep me on the rails when I bring this question out. It appears that our president, Donald J. Trump, is ready to build the most massive Navy this nation has ever seen. Anybody's opinions on that?
I think we already have the most massive Navy that the world has ever seen. It just needs to be modified.
Are you talking, Joe? We're getting a little mixed up here.
Yeah, I said we already have the most massive Navy the world's ever seen. It just needs to be modified.
And you agree with this, what is it, $800 billion Navy?
Anything that has to do with supporting the military, I agree with.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Now, Greg
Go
sprung
Navy.
his hand up pretty quick. He's pretty fast on the draw. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I think peace through strength is always a good policy, all the way back to the time of the Roman Empire. If you want peace, prepare for war, through Ronald Reagan to today. But the nature of warfare has changed dramatically, as if you've all at all watched what's happening in the war in Afghanistan, with Ukraine, with drones. And I think his proposal to build big new surface ships is unwise. I think they will be big targets for for inexpensive drones, both that fly through the air and both that go on surface of the water and that operate underneath the water. And it'll be very hard to defend such large ships. And that the investment should be going in that direction rather than in large, expensive targets, which will be filled with hundreds or maybe thousands of our men and women. So it's important to recognize just how dramatically warfare is changing and change accordingly.
Okay, I got that. But now, Nick, what are your thoughts on this massive Navy?
For the record, I'm not a service member. Just want to clarify that. But
I thought you were.
Those who do. No, I'm a taxpayer. But I do respect those who serve. But I will say this: I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am building a new large, what is it? These Pentagon audits where they just can't account for large sums of money every year. I mean, sometimes in excess of hundreds of billions of dollars. I think it is sometimes as many as trillions of dollars. So I'm personally of the mindset I'm reticent whenever we hear any talk of more money going to the military, even though I love President Trump. And I think I'm the only one wearing a MAGA hat here. And I support President Trump's anti-war message that he's had for nearly 10 years. So I would say, if anything, defend the homeland, finish the wall, deport illegal aliens, and then we'll worry about, building up our Navy and things like that once we secure the homeland.
Okay, well, now I defer to another veteran, or one that I know is a veteran. My mistake on that, Nick, but you are a taxpayer, and basically you're our boss for those of us who have served. Isaac, what are your thoughts on this Navy improvement?
Well, we've seen a lot of changes, like the other gentleman was just saying. Drones, cheap, inexpensive drones that are taking out, Russian warships in the Black Sea. It's a very dangerous threat environment. That said, an investment in modernizing the Navy is definitely a good thing. One of the challenges we have is we can't build as many ships as China. So the idea that we're just going to give that up and just have fewer ships out there that aren't as capable, that's a bit of a problem. It is nice to see some thought on the idea of a big bad battleship that can get in there with its task force, sink a lot of enemy ships, and have a lot more capability for a smaller investment. But yeah, we are going to have to defend that and be very careful with it. And it's going to be able to take out hypersonic missiles and ballistic missiles. It's going to be, all this and that. But what we really need right now probably is a drone carrier. A much smaller vessel that can just launch hundreds, thousands of drones that can go off and disrupt the enemy. Rather than necessarily focusing all this on big ships. I'm just glad to see a move away from the super carriers. I love my submarines. I'm a submariner myself. We need more subs. We're getting some unmanned subs coming. But at the same time, the super carriers, I mean, they're big, they're beautiful, they're bad. Let's not, it's true. But at the same time, they're a huge target and there's a lot invested in them. The air crews, the techs who work on those, all really great Americans, but you get 5,000, 6,000 men and women on a ship and it gets hit and sunk. That's a huge investment and a lot of people have been put at risk where, maybe an unmanned vessel can go in and do some damage for a much lower cost.
So you and Greg on the same line of thought. And I want to thank you for your service.
Similar.
But real quick, I want to go to Jay Sean and Suave. Both of you guys come up real quick. I got a question for you. Suave and Jay Sean, come up. Open your mics.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm waiting on Jay Sean. I want to ask you both a question because I'm going to defer to Evie after you all. So let's make this quick. Okay. Jay Sean and Eve and Suave, how old are you gentlemen, respectfully?
I'm 16.
Okay. Well, actually, then I'm going to have Connie let you go because you're underage. And these topics.
Can I ask one question?
Connie, you gotta let him go. He's underage.
Wait, hey, Connie, wait, please.
Okay, what? No, you got to go, young man. Sorry about that. And don't get funny with me, Suave. How old are you, young man?
I'm 17.
Oh,
I turn 18 tomorrow.
Let me ask you a question before you get bounced.
Okay.
Are you considering serving our country in military service at all?
Yes, I'm actually doing this. It's like how do I say it? It's like a program. Do you ever heard of NYPD Explorers? We're basically.
I used to be a Chicago Police Explorer. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm a part of NYPD Explorers basically, and and right after I graduate high school, we kind of do take a gap year and we do like a boot camp kind of, and it's kind of like we're training with basically all of kind of like the higher ups that are serving for our country.
So real quick, it looks like Greg and Isaac, in their wisdom, are actually looking out for you because 5,000 young, beautiful people like yourself on a Navy, I guess you call it super cruiser, that could be a problem. But now listen to me, Suave. I really appreciate you being here, but you are underage, and we just discovered that. So I got to say goodnight to you, okay? But thank you for having a civic mind and taking a look at the Southside Unicorn Show. You come back after that 18th birthday, okay?
All right.
Take care.
Good night, Suave.
Good night.
Night, Suave.
Good night, young man. Now, Evie, really quick, what's your thoughts on this big old Navy because you're going to be in charge of a budget. You're running for lieutenant governor in the state of California. That is no light, easy feat. So what are your thoughts on this potential expense of $800 billion, bunches of, improvements and ships? What do you think?
So one of the things that I really admire about our president, President Trump, is that he does his homework and he understands that our military for who knows how long has been neglected. We need to make sure that we have everything that we need before we need them. He sees that. He understands that. We're not going to, at the last moment, say, okay, we need these warships because they take time. They take time to build. They take time to train on. And I understand that we say there's a cost to this and so forth, but there's a greater cost to not being prepared. So I am 100% for being prepared for all situations, especially as we see all kinds of things happening around the world. We here in the US have a great have it great because we don't have to worry a lot about war. We always go to war. We don't have war here, where other countries are now bringing the war to us, and we want to be prepared.
Okay, that's a good answer. Now, I want to go to Catherine Daigle. Catherine, what are your thoughts?
I want to preface by stating I love our military. Anything they need, anything they want, they should have. They put their lives on the line for those of us who stay on this ground in the United States. Now, I know Deborah Polly was in the military, and she has strong feelings about what we should have as far as capabilities. I just want to interject one thing because I really can't speak to building these massive behemoths. And I'm all for it. But we also have satellites that can easily find where we have problems around the earth. And if you look at Venezuela, we've got a few ships down there with laser pointing on all the garbage that's coming in towards our country. So I believe with the dome that he wants to build, President Trump, my hero, I believe that he will be able to help our military with the generals figure out how to use this particular equipment. And again, I say, other than the Chinese who love to put bombs and so forth on their fishing boats, I can't speak to this as thoroughly as I'd like to. I'm just current on what's going on, and his want is to build at least 2 up to 24 of these massive ships.
Yeah. So what I
That's it.
want to do, and I hear you, we're up against the hard break again. I want to give Jay 30 seconds and John 30 seconds. Jay, what are your thoughts on this massive Navy?
Pooh bar.
Huh? Nobody seems to be feeling that Navy. Okay.
By the time they get the drawings done and all the specifications and everything, and before they even lay the first piece of the keel, that's 5 years. After laying the keel, it's going to be another 5 years.
That's what Evie was saying. That's what she was saying.
Another
John,
5
what
years
are your
complete
thoughts,
it.
John, real quick?
Well, I'm in favor of it, actually. I think a lot of our ships out there are paper tigers in the world of drones and so on, where a small explosion can bust through a thin hull. Armor sounds like it makes a lot of sense to me. The South China Sea is a really bad hotspot. We could direct those big armored bulks to a place where we would have military advantage with them, not in a place where we would have military disadvantage. Those big battleships actually did a lot of bombardment during the Iraq War. So they were like a mobile artillery battery that we wouldn't otherwise have unless we were sending in air power. So
Understood.
I
So here
don't
we
think
are
it's
up
a
against
bad idea.
we're up against the hard break again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a really good show. It is the eve before New Year's Eve show, but it's got a lot of underpinnings to it. And I thank you all for offering your opinions in the respectful and smooth way that you're offering your opinions. It's time for another station break. We'll be right back after these messages go nowhere.
This time of year can be emotionally rough on a lot of good people. If you're feeling low and you need someone to talk to, caring people are available 24/7 at the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Just call or text 988. It's free and confidential. Don't wait. Call or text 988. If you're going to imbibe, don't drink and drive. Arrange a ride home with a friend. Or just tell Siri you're drunk and Siri will call you a cab. Remember, if you imbibe, don't drink and drive.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are back in a very electric, very intense Eve before New Year's Eve show, but I'm sure you all are enjoying it. You're probably glued to your radio or your TV just like I am. The guests we have so assembled are incredible. They're all a powerhouse in their own rights. And so we're going to continue the show as we've gone so far. We got hotbed issues here. And I do want to touch on some of them lightly. I want to touch on them with a measure of respect. This is the name I'm going to mention. And then we're going to go around and get your opinion, your respectful opinion about that topic or that person. We're going to start it with a question from Songbird.
How many billions did the Somalians steal from America?
Oh.
Anyone dare to take a guess at the amount of money we've lost in Minnesota so far?
Too many.
$9 billion so far, and I think it's bigger than that.
81.
Did you say 9 billion? Did you say 9?
9.
You sure did.
81. 81 billion.
81 billion?
That's correct. With a B.
Isaac, what do you say?
I'm hearing a lot of numbers out there, 9, 14, that kind of stuff. Even 81. I mean, it's bigger than we know at this point. That's all I'm going to say. Whatever we know now, it's probably twice or thrice that.
Wow. So Nick, what do you say? Chime in real quick.
On the Somalis? On the fraud?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess, sorry, just make sure we're, I think it's terrible. I think all of these people should be deported. They were brought here under spurious circumstances. But, this is also a legacy, quite frankly, of immigration laws that have been passed in large part by Jewish Democrats. Like if you look at, for example, the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, which was passed by Emanuel Celler, who is one of the key sponsors of the bill. Key sponsor of the bill in the Senate was Jacob Javits. And that has created an infrastructure and an architecture where our borders have been taken away. So, I mean, it's easy for us to point out and get mad about the Somalis. And I'm saying here, I think all of them should be deported. I think they should be remigrated, repatriated back to their country. They're not adding anything. But, if people want to get upset, we should look at the legacy of Jewish activism in American immigration law. And I think that's something really worth discussing.
But Nick,
yes.
that's not your guess or estimation of how much money has been stolen. How much money do you believe?
I don't think we'll know. It'll probably be in the hundreds of billions. I don't really need, and honestly, I'm not shocked. This isn't just in the Somali community. If you look out in California, I'm sure the Mexican community is also pilfering and sending money home and doing a lot of fraud.
Okay. Well, again, you jumped into some area that's not the subject. Jay, what is your thought? How much money do you believe was taken?
I have no idea because I never heard of it until it was on the news the other day. So it is. And I have no idea how much. I heard 9 billion, 10 billion. That's an insurmountable amount of money to be to be pilfered and sent out of country. But I have no idea, no comprehension.
Wow. I got someone on here I believe might know the answer. Greg, how much do you believe was taken in the Great Minnesota robbery?
I think what people have been saying is that whatever numbers out there is probably greater than that. And certainly, that when the leading occupation in Somalia is pirate and you import 100,000 of them, okay, no surprise here. But I think it's also it's not just Somalis. It was open. It was blatant. They were running these things. These facilities were being inspected. Had no children in them. It was hand in glove with the Minnesota Democrat Party, who I have zero doubt was taking a cut out of the fraud. Otherwise, it could not have existed for so long in businesses that have to be licensed, have to be inspected, unless the Democrat Party was complicit. They wouldn't be complicit if they weren't getting a cut.
Exactly. Okay, so Isaac, what's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, the "it's the Jews" argument I'm going to have to challenge, because I mean vast majority of Congress is not Jewish, and Congress passed these laws. But the great sign of a low IQ, it's the Jews. I
Okay,
don't have the
guys,
ability to
slow
think of
down
any other
with the
answer.
jabs.
So no, but this is one small piece of the iceberg is the Somali community, but we know this welfare fraud thing is huge. I mean, the Democrats fund all this money out, and Republicans have been complicit with it over the years into these welfare programs, and then they have no controls over them. Anyone can get that money, and it just happens the Somalis managed to get a lot of it in a really obvious way, which should have been found out much earlier, and they're sending it back to finance terrorism. With our tax dollars. If you're paying sales tax and property taxes in Minnesota, some of your money, is going out to fund Al Shabaab, and that's disgusting.
That's horrible. I want to segue back to my brother Greg because he's an Esquire. He's a lawyer. Is anybody going to get perp walked here, Greg?
Um, I don't think anybody big is going to get perp walked. I wish it were otherwise, but I think the weak, timid, and ineffective Pam Bondi is not is not. We're not going to see Tim Walz or Keith Ellison or high-level Democrats perp walked out of this. I would be happy. I would be very pleased to be proven wrong. But based on her performance to date, I do not expect that. I think you'll see a number of Somalis perp walked and tried and hopefully deported after their prison sentences. But I don't.
You went dead. I'm going to switch over because here's where I'm at with this. You got these nonprofits out there, 501(c)(3)s, people who have a great idea about what they want to be about, and then you find out that the the nonprofit that they're supporting is themselves. They say they have a just cause. I want to be a nonprofit just cause it gives me money. I want to be a nonprofit just cause it's cool. But we do have someone in here, Patriots and Paws, who is a nonprofit. I want to ask you, not on a political tangent, Patriots and Paws, but as a true nonprofit that gets more money in and then gives it directly to your intended client. How do you feel about what you're hearing coming out of Minnesota?
I think in the nonprofit world, there's just so much fraud because people are not being held accountable early on. This year, we've served over 3,800 families, providing them home goods and furnishings at no cost. And I will tell you, I would be in a dream if I was able to get $1 million to be able to do what we do and not have to fight tooth and nail to get support for what we do. We're not one of the four. We're in the state of California, and one of the in the nonprofit world, the biggest funders that get the money are those who create housing, that educate you, that give you jobs, and that do mental health. Well, guess what? We keep people in their homes longer because they get to pick out stuff for their home to create a home. We self-audit our taxes. We're very good at what we do, and it's very hard for us to get funding, and it's just extremely frustrating to see so many nonprofits not have the accountability to prove what they really do when there's organizations like ours and so many others that are out there that are extremely top heavy in where the money goes to versus where it needs to go, which is serving the clients that we serve.
Yes.
So I got a question for you, Patriots and Paws. Is there a sword of Damocles? Is there a governing body that watches nonprofits, or is it just, hey, I'm a nonprofit, give me some money?
I'm not aware whether there is or not. We are accountable to the IRS with our 990s. Like I said, we self-audit, which means we have a third party come in and watch what we do and how we spend our money. I funded this through my inheritance when we first started. We just celebrated our 15th year, and we've served over. Thank you. We've served over 20,000 families in Southern California, And really, there's no reason why there's not organizations doing what we do all across the nation, taking care of our veterans. And for those on this call, thank you for your service, because we have the freedom to be on this call because of people like you that have given us our freedom to be able to do this. So I applaud all of you for being on this call. But I think there needs to be an overhaul done on nonprofits and being accountable and having people really finding out where the money goes. You want to know where my money goes? Come on down, I'll show you.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. You are a traditional, patriotic American who literally took her own inheritance. Put your money where your mouth is. You are the embodiment of what we hope to see in this nation. So when I learned that there are no children in the daycares in Somalia, I mean, it may as well be Somalia, please forgive me, but in Minnesota, and yet they have gotten billions of dollars. I can't wait to see why Greg raised his hand. What were you going to say about that, Greg?
I was going to jump in on the regulation. She's right about that you have to file what's called a 990 return with the IRS if you are a 501c3. But California and probably other states also have oversight of charitable foundations, but they don't exert effective oversight. There are so many of them, and two, if the fraud is favoring the Democrat Party, a Democrat Attorney General's office is not going to look too closely. There was just recently on Patrick Bet David, or one of those two, whichever order that goes, who's a podcast, and he was interviewing Anna Kasparian, who is a liberal to leftist podcaster on the Young Turks. And she was going off on the LA spends $13 billion a year on homeless and accomplishes nothing. And she was going off on these nonprofits where the executives are making $500,000 a year. And of course, again, a good chunk of that money is going to get kicked back to the Democrat Party. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting their big grants to pay the $500,000 per year salaries. But the oversight, both by either the IRS or the state attorney general's office, is ineffective at preventing that.
Okay. Now, Catherine, I'm not sure if I called on you or not, but I want to. And Gerald, I see you there, brother. I can't wait to get you in on this show. Catherine, what are your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts at all.
On Minnesota and the billions of dollars?
Well, I suggested I gave you the figure of $81 billion.
Oh, okay. So I did call on you. Please forgive me for that.
Oh,
Gerald,
no,
come on up.
it's fine.
Okay, come on up for a second, Gerald, because we're about to go into a hard break. We are wrapping up into the balance of this show. It has been energetic, a little bit confrontational, and I don't appreciate that. But I guess some people out there, let them mix it up a little bit. Not on the eve before New Year's Eve show. This is a show about discussing light issues, having a little bit of fun with it. Roll your shoulders and relax a little bit before you chime in, there it is. Thank you, John. See, John knows that John is a very smooth man. But look at here. We got to go for a station break. We'll be right back after these messages. Go nowhere.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
When I see a new broadcast from the Southside Unicorn, I can't wait to listen to it. You just never know what he's going to say.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are into segment 7. My, this show is going really fast, sort of like the year 2025. It went really fast, but that's okay. We started the year with each other, we went through the year with each other, and we're going to wrap up this year together. But we're going to do it the way we started, even back in segment 1. We have been asking the strangest questions, the most period questions, and we're getting some of the best answers you're ever going to find to these topics anywhere. Mm-hmm. So, having said that, we are now into segment 7, and I got another question for you.
When the red, red robin goes bop, bop, bopping along. Hey, Biden family, where in the world is Robinette?
Now, I want to preface that because, and where is my Deborah Polly, my military people? It is understood that when you are the POTUS, the President of the United States, whether you are former or active, you take precedence in the room that you're in, and alongside other national leaders, alongside the active president, you stand alongside one another. The body, the visage of the President of the United States of America is not supposed to take a backseat to anyone. Where do you all stand on that? Anybody? Greg?
Yeah, there are all sorts of protocols on those type of things, and I don't know them, nor do I particularly pay much attention to them. But I've seen video of events at which Obama and Biden were at. So Biden is the nominal current president of the United States. Obama is the former president twice removed. But Obama was the center of attention. People were gathering around him, trying to talk to him, trying to shake his hand, and Biden's standing off there by himself.
That was a good optic. You're right. So he's kind of abdicated that. And it looks like Evie was quick on the draw, and please forgive me for not seeing that. Evie, what are your thoughts on that protocol?
Well, you're actually talking about something that I used to do. We had a lot of training in protocol for one of my former jobs in the military. And one of the things one of the reasons that we did it was because when you're dealing with dignitaries from other countries, they want to also be able to know who's the most important person, right? So if you have things the same way, everybody understands who to look to shake hands, who to look to talk to first, and who to talk to first, right? So no one's going to be insulted by somebody who just wasn't in the know. So I think those protocols are necessary because not everybody's an American, and other people do things differently. So it helps.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Gerald, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I gotta ask you, what exactly are we talking about here? Because I'm still thinking about that song Robinette, and it just hit me. Oh, she's talking about that last dummy president. Oh, Robinette, and then explain to me one more time, or
you know what? I'm gonna do you better than that. I'm gonna let your good friend Songbird re-edify us. Songbird, can you hit us with that one more time, please?
The video again?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me set it up for you. Give me one little second.
Joseph Robinette Biden. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is the question from Joseph Robinette.
Okay,
take a look at the picture.
Here you go.
Take a look at the picture.
Uh-huh.
Where in the world is Robinette? Do you see it?
Yeah. Well, I saw the question. I couldn't tell who the people were because I can't see right now.
That's the point. That's the point, brother. You're the former president of the United States. If you remember, and it wasn't disrespectful, it was in respect of the office. President Donald J. Trump was boarded a plane, and even his very wife, Melania, made the faux pas of almost cutting him off. And because he's very present of who he is and what he is, he gently pushed her to the side and said, honey, don't block me. I'm the president. He is the embodiment. So when you see the picture, Gerald, where in the world is Robinette?
Were you all showing that picture from Christmas when it was the Bidenette family and he's like behind Jill just a...
Yes.
Well, it's funny that I heard
you said it's funny.
It's a good funny.
I like what Evie said about it. She brought up a good point. Jay, what are your thoughts on that? Is that good or bad?
Well, if that was taken during his active presidency, he should have been in the front, being the president of the United States. But
actually, it's even when you're the former president, respectfully.
Yeah, but he's not POTUS anymore. He's ex-president or former president. So it's a family photo. He should have been more towards the front a little bit, not hidden behind somebody else's head in the back row. Granted, it took me a couple seconds looking at the picture because it wasn't that clear, and then it finally dawned on me that he was all the way in the back row, half hidden behind one of the other family members.
That's not good. That's not good stuff. John, what do you think about that?
Well, I have to say that between me and my grandpa, we knew everything and we had opinions on everything, and that's something my grandpa had an opinion on. So I don't really have an opinion on that one.
Well, what was your grandpa's opinion? Will you share it?
Well, I don't know because he passed away when I was 17.
Oh. But he had an opinion about it.
All that knowledge about Joe Biden died with him.
Oh, okay. You know what? I get what you're saying. I'm going to bring you in, Patriots and Paws, just real quick, because I think you've seen a few military ceremonies and everything. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to me, it just looks like it was an afterthought to have him in the picture.
Ooh, good point. Good point. I love the answers that we're getting on this show today. Catherine? Are you there, Catherine?
Yes, I'm here. I actually, all the times that he was either in Paris or going up the stairs into the plane or showing up at a party at the White House, he was always in the background or a stand-in was there. And I firmly believe that. So he was not capable of having conversations. He wasn't capable of sitting down and eating properly. He wasn't capable of acting presidential in any situation. So I'm thinking that he was probably not him. It was an afterthought, as was stated earlier, or a stand-in.
Or maybe they were taking a family picture, didn't ask him to even be a part of it. He kind of just ran up at the last minute, huh?
It could have been. It could have been. Either case, nobody wants him there.
Biden photobomb.
Let me hit Catherine with this real quick. It sounds kind of cute with what you said. There are those who said that the ears of Joseph Robinette Biden, that those ears changed in certain photos. Are you a believer of that?
Oh, yes. And you could actually, there was the time when he poked his head out of the Air Force One, and he had all those chins and the double weird things going on with his chin. Also, you saw the strap marks on his face. He wore that machine for breathing, or possibly, this had something else to do with what people said that they saw was masks to hide his cancer on his head. or other things that were going on with
And so
them.
you're saying on other photos, none of those anomalies were present?
Oh no, I believe there was a lot of anomalies present when he showed up in photographs, in images, in video. It was pointed out on many of the podcasts, even Dan
Wow.
Bongino, which I don't really care for anymore. But there was some people out there that photographed and took images and video that was available. And I do a lot of research, so
Well, yeah.
valid research. And then I go in the weeds a lot, but for fun, for my own fun. But yeah, I don't believe even. Ukraine Zelensky has a stand-in, and
Well, he needs one.
well,
I can see where he'd have one.
oh, I can't stand him. The sooner they get rid of that theater actor, the quicker we can move on with the
Exactly.
real
Because
country.
without going into the weeds with you, Catherine, he was dumb enough to listen to Obama and Biden. I'm talking about Zelensky. So he got scratched by the bear. There are going to be 3 scratches in his ribs that are never going to go anywhere. He's lost real estate that he's never going to see again. And the sooner he accepts that, the better that whole little nightmare is going to be. He pissed off the bear, and the bear scratched him.
Yep, I agree. It's going to be an interesting year this year. Watch for it.
Yes, it is. So I'm gonna go back around again because this is really good stuff, and I just want to squeeze it a little bit more. Evie, my good friend Jay is saying that he's no longer president, so it doesn't matter where he figures in any photographs. What say you?
Well, yes, it does matter because he's still the former president and there's still protocol for that. But he never followed protocol while he was the acting president. I don't know if he was even the president. I think someone else was running the ship, but
Now he's sounding like Catherine. Okay. That's okay. It's all right that minds are alike. Now I want to go back to my brother Gerald. I miss him so much. I have appeared on his show with Toot Sweet. Thank you for having me as a guest sometimes. But now, Gerald, having heard these esteemed panel members that are here with you, does it help? What are your thoughts now?
Well, I'll tell you my thought. You've heard of for children to be seen, don't be heard. Like you're not smart enough to say anything right now. It seems like with the Democrats, if you're a dud, it doesn't even matter if you were the president. And yes, when you're the ex-president, you're supposed to be you're out there as long as you're still alive. Even Jimmy Carter, for goodness sake, they had him out there.
Right. I see your point. I see your point, and I appreciate that point. We're gonna have to go in for a hard break, but before we do, I love the answers that Songbird gives us. Songbird, what is the answer to this question?
My take on Robinette, hiding in the back, in the rear with the gear. But
Hey.
And that ends our Q&A. Ken, back to you.
Outstanding. We have entered the end of the Q&As, and even though I love them so much, they were really energetic. You guys are powerhouses in your own right. Each one of you a very powerful personality. I want to thank you all for being here. We're going to have one last segment, and that's going to be a tribute to Charlie Kirk, on homage to Charlie Kirk. But we have to take a station break. We need to get some chips up in this house. So having said that, we'll be right back after these messages. Go nowhere. Hey, Ken White here, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, reading, or seeing, won't you support the show? You can do that in 2 different ways. You can buy merch or do a straight donation. To buy merch, go to www.thesouthsideunicornshow.com. To make a donation of any denomination, use the Cash App. Our account number is the $ SSUS44. And thank you very much. Hey, listen to me. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nothing more I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you.
You are listening to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend, Ken White. He'll be back after these messages.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. This show has gone really fast, sort of like the year 2025. But this is the eve before New Year's Eve show, and I am so grateful to all the guests that have shown up, to even the young people who heard about it throughout the United States, and they thought they would just jump on. But you know, it's almost your bedtime. So yeah, I'm glad you showed up, but hey, this is a show for adults. Having said that, we're about to segue into an adult topic, and I'd like your opinions on it. There is a firebrand, and was a firebrand, by the name of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was unabashed about speaking the truth. He spoke the truth so fearlessly that he actually upset yours truly. And you may have seen the show, which was the Dr. King show that I did. It was a part 1 and a part 2. And I was feeling some kind of way. I was upset at Charlie Kirk. I was a little bit warm under the collar because yours truly was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. But Billiken Parade, the Operation Push, we even have a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. So when I hear a person who is not of my culture, that's how I say it, because I don't really deal with race that much, but a person who is not even of my culture, and he's talking about what is a legendary icon of the Black community, ooh, I was hot. And it made a lot of people hot. But I don't think that a person's words or opinions is worthy of death. I will say that in full disclosure, I did my research. I started doing a deep dive on what Charlie Kirk was saying about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Nick, who had to leave, he was on that show, and he had some very poignant opinions about Dr. King as well. But being fair, and that is where that should be the intersection of our axis, being fair. Mm-hmm. In fairness, what Charlie Kirk said was the truth. It was clarion truth. Sometimes things aren't delivered exactly the way you want it. You may get a needle that has plenty of good medicine in it, but if they jab it in you, it's still going to do you good, but boy, is that needle going to hurt going in. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, remembering the sad day of September 10th, when Charlie Kirk was doing what he does best, which was prove me wrong. He didn't say, if I'm right and you can't prove me wrong, then take me out. That's not what he meant. So with that being the premise of this topic right now, I'd like to start with you, Gerald. What are your thoughts on what happened with Charlie Kirk?
So many things make me think about how the world has changed for the worst. And I recall a lot of names who have died. And what comes to me is that when the icons on the left die, it's this big, huge, mournful thing, no matter what they did. And we all got it. If we were on the other side, didn't matter. I thought about Ted Kennedy. I mean, he whatever. I'm not going to talk about what a dirtbag he was, but he died, and it was this 3-day event. Oh, nobody talked trash about him when he died. He was a Kennedy. And then one of my biggest icons, Rush Limbaugh, dies, and I heard dirty stuff. Nobody, it kind of like was a blurb on the news, mainstream media, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't somebody who really made a difference. It was nothing. So we went from that Ted Kennedy thing, oh God, and nobody said that. And I think about Rush, how he wasn't given the reverence that I thought he deserved. And now we move even further down the hill and we hit somebody. And I'm sorry about some of the things that you found, a little off-putting. And I know where you're coming from. I do. I know what you're talking about. But, compartmentalize that. Look what he did, what he's doing. So many people are saying, "Hey, wow, let me get to church and find out more about Jesus." And oh wow, you know what? Let me take another look at the right and what Trump is doing really great. He's getting people to think, I say, in the right way, but at least just think, for goodness sake, if you're on the other side. But what's happening is he's getting trashed. I hate that.
Joe, I got to get to some more people because we are really running out of daylight. I can't believe it. Greg, what are your thoughts real quick?
Charlie was a unique and extraordinary person because he did so many different things that I wasn't even fully aware of until after he died. And I saw him as this great political organizer, and through Turning Point USA, which it was, and it does more effective work than the Republican Party. But he was also an evangelist and an apostle for the Lord, especially with young people. And he was also a behind-the-scenes organizer and bridge builder and peacemaker among people on our sides. So I mean, he was just this all-purpose leader on our side who had a good chance that he would have been president at some point if he had not been killed. At least the Republican nominee. And
I
get you on that.
I get you on that, but I want to go to Evie real quick because we are really up against the clock. Evie?
Well, Charlie Kirk was such a tremendous soul. We lost a soldier in Christ when we lost Charlie from this world. I was really appalled by the fact that normal, everyday people celebrated his death. Not only celebrated, but went out of their way to celebrate it. There should never be a time in our history, in our country, where we celebrate someone being killed because he had an opinion and he debated his opinion.
I understand. And with that, everyone, I regret that I can't get to the rest of the group and your opinions. I'm sure we all share this one notion. No one should be harmed or unalive because of their viewpoints. That is what makes America great. I want to thank you all for being on the show. Jay, Patriots and Paws, Catherine Daigle, E.B., John, Gerald, Gregory Britton, who has his own show, which is the Patriot. Gosh darn it. Greg, help me here.
United IE Radio, AM 590, 4 o'clock on Saturdays.
Outstanding. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen to me. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nothing more I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you. I'm Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show with Connie Sims and the Songbird. We are out.